Okay, so today we're going to look at the idea of formulas for perimeter. So we know that perimeter is the distance around the outside of a two-dimensional shape. And for a lot of these types of questions, we would have got into the habit of just finding out the sides and adding them all together. So for example, for this question here, it's a square, all the sides are equal. So you could do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, and then give us that answer, and it's going to be 16 centimeters. And that would certainly be true, okay? But we know in mathematics that one of the things that we're always striving to do is to find patterns. We're finding ways that are easier to do it. And often with questions like this, multiplication is an option that makes questions easier, especially when it comes to things such as calc-active questions, where the multiplication function on your calculator allows you to do a more complicated equation really quite quickly and with often a higher degree of accuracy, because you're eliminating some of the error factors. So for this example here, we're looking at the perimeter of a square. Okay, so P equals 4L, so that's the length. So it's 4L, not 41, 4L. The length here is 4 centimeters. So here it would be the perimeter equals 4 times the length, which is 4. So the perimeter equals 16 centimeters. Okay. Okay, so a rectangle is P equals 2L plus 2W, or P equals 2, and in brackets, L plus W. Okay, so if we look at our rectangle, okay, we know that those two sides are the same, those two sides are the same, okay? So we've got two options here. We can find twice this length and twice that length and add them together. There's this one here, or we can add those two together and then times it by 2. So you've got two options with this particular type of question. So let's assume that this one here has a 3 centimeter here and it has an 8 centimeter here. The two different options here would be for us to do, let's do the first one. So we've got 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So that'll equal 16 plus 6 equals 22 centimeters as a possible answer. The other option here is then to do it this way, where we have the brackets. So 2 times, and then we would have 8 plus 3. So it'll be 2 times by 11, and that would also equal 22 centimeters. Either option is acceptable, sometimes it's got to do with what numbers you're given, which ones are easier to deal with. Sometimes there's an easy connection between those numbers and you'll do it that way. Otherwise, you'll do it differently. Okay, let's have a look now at a rhombus. Okay, now we know with a rhombus that it also has all sides the same, so it's going to be the same as a square. It's P equals 4 times L, so let's assume that the length here is 5 centimeters. So this is going to be 4 times by that length, which is 5. It's going to equal 20 centimeters, okay? And crucial to this is to make sure that we're always using that units of measure in our answer, okay? It's one of the most common things that students leave out is that unit of measure, and they have an answer of 20, and it's 20 watt. So it's important that we include that. And finally, we're going to have a look at parallelograms. Okay, so if we're in our parallelograms here, we're going to have a similar scenario that we do with a rectangle, because we've got opposite sides are equal length, okay? But the adjacent sides are different lengths, okay? So here we have these sides here, the shorter sides, and then we have the longer sides. So here to be the perimeter equals 2 times A plus 2 times B, okay? Or, and the same with a rectangle, we could have 2 and it could be A plus B, okay? So if we give these some values here now, so let's say that B equals 8 and meters, and A equals 3 meters. We could then end up with a situation where we have 2 times 3 plus 2 times 8. So that becomes 6 plus 16, and that becomes 22 meters. Okay. And then the alternate one here where we have the brackets, that's 2, it'll be 3 and 8. 8 and 3 is 11, and that gives us 22 meters. Okay, so the use of the rules will give you the same answer as just going around adding all of them together. It's important to know the rules because sometimes questions use the rules as part of the way they ask the question. Okay.